Hey Toy fans, I'm D21Beast and welcome back to my figure review series here on my YouTube channel. And today we're going back in time a little bit to look at the Marvel Legends scaled Fantastic Four movie toy line released by Toy Biz in 2005. Here it is, 2015, and we're getting a new Fantastic Four movie in theaters this year, but what we're not getting is an accompanying toy line. So I figured, what better time than now to go ahead and look at those original Fantastic Four movie toys given to us so many years ago. Before you, we've got the shape-changing Mr. Fantastic. Now this figure is based on the likeness of actor Ioan Gruffudd, and I think the likeness is pretty good. And as you can see here, I no longer have the packaging for this figure. I haven't had it for quite some time. So let's just get things started by taking a look at the paintwork and sculpting on this figure. As you look at Mr. Fantastic up close, what you're going to notice is, as I said, the likeness is very good to actor Ioan Gruffudd. I think the paintwork's very nice on this figure. You can see that its eyebrows and eyes and lips are painted. His hair is actually a brown paint with some black wash, which is really nice. And then you can see that he does have his temples grayed here, which actually I think are more evident on the figure than they actually were on the actor in the movie. Really, there's only just a little bit of paint slop there on the forehead, but otherwise a very, very good looking head sculpt. And as you come down the figure, you're going to see that he has a very nicely sculpted body based on the costume that appeared in that movie. He's got a darker blue here around the shoulders. It's actually a mixture of blue and black if that's coming through. He's got his logo on the chest, and then you'll notice anywhere there's the standard blue jumpsuit color, there's actually a navy blue wash over all of those parts of the figure. And even on the side here, where the dark gray runs on the side of the figure and on the gloves and on the boots, there's paint wash on that as well. So really just a phenomenal sculpt on this figure and phenomenal paintwork overall. I really think Toy Biz is at the top of their game at this point, and it definitely shows with this particular figure. Shape-changing Mr. Fantastic comes with all the accessories that you see here. The first one we're going to take a look at is this alternate head sculpt. As you can see, it does maintain the likeness of actor Ioan Gruffudd very nicely, and it's also painted very nicely, but the fun thing about this extra head is that it's pretty flat. So you can see here that you can change the head on this Mr. Fantastic figure, just popping this one off and plugging this head on. And then you have a sort of stretched-faced, flat-faced Mr. Fantastic, which is sort of a fun inclusion. Definitely increases the play value as well. Then you'll see that we have these two extra arm pieces. The left arm of Mr. Fantastic will actually come off, and then you can plug on this giant fist. Now this fist, if you can't tell, actually has a wash on it, which is kind of surprising for this sort of accessory. But then you have this button here that as you press it, Mr. Fantastic can just kind of ram his hand up and down. And then you'll see here on the right side of the figure, you can plug that arm off, and you have this interchangeable buzzsaw piece. Now this piece itself isn't very well crafted, I think. You have this gear that spins around and around, but as you move this gear around, it does sort of break the actual arm piece apart. I don't know if it's supposed to do that or if mine's just constructed kind of poorly, but we do have that same sort of wash on this accessory as well. But some really interesting accessories. Granted, none of these actually appeared in the Fantastic Four movie, but if you're looking for play value with this figure certainly got it. But I do think that it's great that we have these options if you want to use them. Moving on to articulation, we'd say that Mr. Fantastic does have a head that bends down very far and bends back only about that far. His head will rotate all the way around. He's got a shoulder joint that does rotate all the way around, as well as having a ball jointed hinge so his arm can lift up from the body that far. And he has a bicep rotation that spins all the way around. And then he has a double jointed elbow that collapses in pretty nicely, and then has a rotation here at the glove. And then he actually has a hand articulation, so his hand will go back that far and down that far. And then he does have finger articulation, so his hand can actually open that far and close in that far. Now he has that same articulation here on the other side. The only difference is, the joints are a little tight on this guy. The only difference is that this hand is designed to be open, so it closes in about that far and then closes out that far. And then you can see that he does have an ab crunch, has a ratcheting here, so it'll bend forward that far and then bend back very far. He's got a full rotation here at the waist, and then he has a ball jointed hip so that his leg can move forward that far, move back only about that far. He does bend out from the body that far, which is very nice. He's got a double jointed knee that does collapse nicely, and then he's got a full rotation here at the boot, and then he does have an ankle that bends down that far and forward that far, very far, and then has toe articulation. Now, because this is a mid-2000 Toy Biz figure, there is actually no sort of ankle pivot or ankle articulation left and right. So that completes the articulation for this figure. Honestly, a really great set of articulation for a movie tie-in toy. Height-wise, we can see that shape-changing Mr. Fantastic does stand right about 6.5 inches tall. For some size comparison, here we have shape-changing Mr. Fantastic compared to the Clobberin' Time Thing figure from this same toy line. Here he is compared to the Marvel Legends Fantastic Four box set Mr. Fantastic figure. Here he is compared to one of the Hugh Jackman Wolverine figures released with X-Men 2. So I've been meaning to tell you, my DVD has a deleted scene where I morph into your face to impress Sue Storm. What? And finally, here he is compared to the 6-inch scale Marvel Legends Infinite Series Wolverine. Alright Toy fans, well that's my review of the shape-changing Mr. Fantastic figure released by Toy Biz in 2005. Overall, I do think this figure's a lot of fun. The paintwork and sculpting on this figure are actually pretty good, and that head sculpt and likeness to actor Ioan Gruffudd is actually pretty spot on. Accessory-wise, his arms don't really do it for me. I'm not a fan of the saw blade or that mashing hand, but I do like the alternate head sculpt and think that's a fun inclusion. But really, your opinion on whether to get this figure is going to solely rely on your opinion of the movie. If you like the film, you probably want to pick this guy up. If not, you probably want to give this guy a pass. But as far as movie tie-in toys go, I definitely place this figure in the win column. Well, thanks for watching this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you saw here, please feel free to rate, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.